Alright, what is up guys? For this video we're going to be doing something I've wanted to do for a little while, been thinking about, and I started looking into it today because I really have nothing to do, and I realized this might be an easier job than I thought. Down there I've got the old Eclipse seats. These are the 1995 seats. The car currently has Sebring seats in it actually, and I hung on to them because they are the 7-way adjustable seats. They're kind of rare because they only came in 95s. And they're not in terrible shape. The driver's one's a little bit rough, but it still worked fine. There wasn't anything real wrong with it aside from a couple of the handles being a little bit rough and then the bolsterings ripped on this side. But they're not bad. They still work. They were still comfortable. And I was looking into it, and it looks like it'll actually almost bolt right into the Dakota. So here is the setup. So I went and I measured the distance from like approximately, because I can't really see them, where the holes are that on the rails, and they're actually like the same length. The rails on those seats are the same length as the rails on the bench seat, so I know I'm going to have to at least drill 4 holes and put some holes or bolts through the floor. But my main concern was I wanted to make sure that this hump where the seat mounts to was long enough for those seats to fit on. For the seat belts, I just need to pull them through the bottom of the seat like that. And then the buckle for the middle seat. There, now the seat belts are out of the way. So Chrysler likes to parts bin everything. All the big 3 manufacturers are really bad about parts binning cars. And a lot of things across like completely different vehicles are identical. And in the case of these Eclipse seats, the seat belts, or the latches for them, are the exact same as the Dakota seat belts, which I was really excited about too. Let me get this. We'll just pull it down, and there, it locks in. It fits perfect. Releases just normal, so that's cool. Which means I can use the seat belt that comes with DSM seat, so I won't have that giant plastic mess in the way for when I am using these seats, and I won't have to try to remove the buckle from this one, which is pretty cool. Alright, I got the bench seat out. It's sitting over there. I got that back shelf thing out as well, just so it's out of the way. I got one seat sitting in here just to kind of test it and see how these things will fit in here. And what I like is that the seat, well, the rails are kind of out of place, so the seat wants to tip. But if I sit it about right here, maybe a little bit further forward, this a little bit further forward towards the very front of this, I can just drill 4 holes and just bolt it straight through the floor, and we will be pretty much all set. Like I said, the rails are not lined up right now, and the seat wouldn't slide for me. But one thing I'm going to have to do, and I can show you on this side, the bolts that hold the seat belt buckles and are seized up like completely. They're not moving, not going anywhere at all. So I'm going to have to just cut the heads off of those to get these old seat belts out of here, and then just grind them down so they're out of the way. And I'm going to have to do the same to the other one that's currently underneath of this seat. And then I'm going to probably grind that stud off down there just so it's out of the way. There's one underneath the seat that's sitting in here as well. There's a pencil. I'm going to vacuum this carpet out as good as I can, get all this trash out of here. What's cool is that they're about the same color as the interior already is. The floor is definitely flat enough for me to just bolt it straight down. I've just got to get the right size bolts, and then I can just drill a few holes and have these seats mounted nice, and then we can go try them out and see how they feel. And that'll be basically a free seat upgrade, since I already had these laying around and was considering just throwing them out at one point. Alright, I just finished getting the floor prepared in here. So I got the seat belts off. They're laying up there on the ground. I had to cut all the bolts to hold them in off. As you can see right there, they're rested in place underneath the truck. They're not coming out. So I just cut them off, ground them down, did the same to the stud that was right here and the one on the other far side. And I pulled the carpet up, of course, vacuumed it all out after I was done cutting. And now the floor is completely ready for me to go and set the seats in and start drilling holes. And then what's cool about this right here is that this has like a pocket underneath of it. So for the front bolt on the seats at least, I'll be able to just put a nut down here. I won't have to drill all the way through the floor of the truck. For the back ones, I will have to drill all the way through the floor. But there's these little spots right here that are kind of flat, and those will work perfect. Now underneath of the passenger side, I'm going to have a fun time reaching because the heat shield for the exhaust is in the way. So I'm going to have to kind of reach my hand up there and just make it work. I think I'll be able to. I'll just have to drill the hole through and reach my hand in there and try to find it, but that's not going to be the end of the world. One thing I liked that I've seen is that my floor is in really good shape. There's one random rust spot right there. I don't know what that's from. I think it's actually from the inside rusting, not the outside. But everything else is in good shape. I found like a whole 75 cents in here. So now I need to go find bolts, like I said. Get some bolts that are the same diameter, or the correct diameter for the seats. And then come back, start drilling holes, get the seats bolted in. I'll be able to try driving around with these seats and see if it makes a pretty noticeable difference comfort-wise, as well as, you know, getting tossed across the bench seat when you go around a turn-wise. Alright, I've been working on this quite a bit now, actually. I was letting the heater run and I didn't want to try talking to you guys with the heater running, but I got the driver's seat, the back end is bolted in. I got bolts that were too long. So I'm going to end up using I got 4 short bolts and 4 long bolts. The long bolts are too long, so I'm going to use the 4 short bolts all the way around the driver's seat. But I got the back end bolted in. I can't slide it forward, but I got a bolt going through the floor down here and on the other side. And I grabbed a can of paint and I just kind of sprayed right here where I need to drill these holes. I'm probably going to grab a knife or something and make a better mark right in the center of that. And then I'm going to go and drill the holes out that I need for these front ones, and then get the 2 front bolts done on the driver's seat, and then at least I'll be able to drive the truck again, which will be nice. There's one bolt right there, as you can see, that's way longer than I need. And then the other one, oh, I still got the wrench down here. Wrench is still on it. That one right there, once again, way longer than I need. So I'll go back and get some shorter ones for the other side as well, since I had 4 short ones. But I'm pretty happy with it. I tried sitting in it. Of course, the carpet's all balled up in the way, but it's very comfortable, and I think it's gonna make it a little bit easier to drive, since there's not gonna be a whole bunch of, you know, me getting tossed across the seat when I go around corners and stuff. I'm gonna go get that seat done, show it to you guys, and then I'll run out and get 4 more bolts that are short like this. This is what is holding those seats down. This is what I'm gonna end up needing. So I'm gonna finish the seat, go get more of these, and then get this whole thing done. Alright guys, I'm so excited. I got all the holes drilled and the seat's just sitting with all the bolts in, and it looks fantastic. I got it slid all the way back. That's as far back as it can go with like the angle that the back of the seat has, and that's a pretty comfortable position. The seat sits a good distance between like the door and like the inside when the door's shut. That's pretty much a proper distance right there between the seat and the door. It's about what you would want. And then there will be plenty of distance between the passenger seat and the driver's seat. Basically, right here where my phone is at, there's going to be this much space. It's like 3 phones widths between here and the other person, and that's where the other seat's going to sit. You do sit a little bit lower in this too. Like, the seat sits a tiny bit lower than the bench seat did, but it sits at a really good spot. It's actually a little bit better than where the bench seat sat, because now I'll be able to sit in here and my head won't hit the sagging headliner, which will be nice. And the GoPro battery's about to die, so I'm going to have to go charge it. Like I said, there's one seat in, it's not bolted in. I want to go down underneath and look at the bolt lengths. But I'll be able to get the other seat in, get everything bolted down, and then make sure everything fits, and then get the carpet laid down, put holes in the carpet, get all the bolts finalized, and then I'll be able to run out to the hardware store and get shorter bolts so that I can get, there will be one bolt won't be able to tighten down all the way, but I'll have it in there just so that it's there. But everything else will be ready to go. And also, the longer bolt was perfect for this front one, because that front bolt right there, the front right bolt had to go all the way through the floor because there's not a big enough gap in that little, I don't know what that tube thing is. Let's go down here and look at what my bolt lengths look like, actually. Yeah, that right there is about perfect. And the other one doesn't come through because it... Yeah, that one right there is way longer than it needs to be. That one right there is perfect, though. So, we're not doing too bad. So basically a $25 seat upgrade, since I already had these things just sitting in my storage unit and was planning on just throwing them out. So that's pretty cool. I'll be back in a little bit with more progress. Alright, I am back. Camera's charged. And the entire seat conversion swap, I don't know what you want to call it, is done. And got both seats bolted down. I was able to save the carpet, and the carpet looks pretty good. The seats sit nice, and the position between like me and the steering wheel is really nice. The way the pedals feel as far as like where I'm sitting, because it does sit a little bit lower, is really nice. I have more room between me and the steering wheel, and the seats just do a really nice, way better job of like supporting your back. And they've got lumbar support and everything, so they're way better than that bench seat was. They feel really good. And it's interesting because, and maybe it won't be the same way, because I drove around earlier with only the one seat in it because I had to go get bolts. And everything felt different in here. Like, it's just the seat is like one of your main contact points between like you and the vehicle. And changing the seat changed so much as far as like how this thing feels just going down the road. I didn't expect it to be that much different. And going around corners and stuff, the thing doesn't throw me across the bench seat, or across the seat, because it's not a bench anymore. So the bolstering is definitely nice. The adjustment that I have now, because I can change like the lumbar support, I can adjust the bolstering, the height of the seat, everything I can adjust. I'm just so stoked on this. The seats look fantastic in here, and they're way more comfortable. They hold me better when I'm turning and driving and stuff. And the factory Dodge seat belts do plop right in there. Oh, this was the seat belt that was all gooey. Here it goes. They're the exact same thing, so the factory Dakota seat belts just plug right into the bucket seats. Work just like they should. I did remove the middle seat belt buckle and everything, of course. And, I mean, this was an easy swap. It drilled 4 holes, just eyeballed everything. I didn't measure anything. I just eyeballed it, drilled 4 holes, got the right size bolts the first time around, all grade A hardware. The hardware ended up being like $20 for everything, because it's all grade A bolts. That size are expensive, but I want to make sure that there's good bolts holding the seats in, because the seatbelt buckles are attached to the seats, so that's important. And now in the future, if I want aftermarket seats, I've just got to get DSM seats. I don't have to fab anything up. It's already ready to go. I can just plop aftermarket Eclipse seats in it if I want, or I can just use those, which I'll probably do for quite a long time. So yeah, that's it. That's the DSM seats in a Dodge Dakota. Drill 4 holes and it works. Uses the same seat belts as the Dakotas do, which is nice. That's really convenient, and it looks great in there. They're about the same color gray as the interior, probably the same color because it's another Chrysler product. So, since it's the end of the video, I got a couple surprise deliveries, I guess, parts for that thing that I wasn't expecting to get. I got 1 Rock Auto box and 1 eBay package down there, so we're just going to go ahead and open those up on camera since they're here. And that one should be a roll of brake line. This one is just going to be hoses. There's another big box coming that's got rotors and calipers in it. And that one is being shipped through FedEx, I think. But let's get this box open. Alright, so in the Rock Auto box, it's just 3 brake hoses. I'm kind of surprised this thing is this big, but I guess the brake hoses are pretty long on this truck. And they're all Ray Bestos hoses. That's probably the rear one, because it's just the only one. It looks different from these other 2. These are probably the 2 fronts. There's nothing else in here. Bubbles. And these, like I said, this should be one of the front hoses. Hopefully they're labeled. I can just eyeball them and look at them when I'm working on it, but it'd be nice if it had a label. Yeah, it's got paperwork with it. That's for sure front, because it's got the giant metal thing. And the other one's going to look like the same, just reverse. And then this is going to be the rear hose. Bam, there we go. Brand new rear brake hose, brand new fronts, and whatever that is. I also bought these already. These are just AutoZone Duralast. These are the ceramic gold pads. I like using these on everything, basically. Duralast pads are pretty awesome, and they've got lifetime warranty, so you can literally go in and get a new set free whenever you're redoing your brakes. And this is an entirely new roll of brake line. There we go. There we have it. I liked this because it doesn't have paint on it. So the AutoZone brake lines had paint on them, like a coating on them that was really thick, and it made it really difficult to cut them and really difficult to flare them because I had to sand it off, and it was just annoying. So this is just plain, this might be stainless or it's galvanized, probably galvanized. I'm not really sure. I don't know enough about this. It might say on one of the papers in there, but it's 25-foot roll. I am going to be doing the entire truck now. I'm going to redo the two rears because one of them leaks where the brake hose goes in, but it could be an issue with the brake hose fitting as well. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to redo the two on the axle and then replace every single hard line on the entire truck. The only one I might not touch is the one that I had the shop do because it's really hard to reach with the fuel tank in the way. But when I go and put the fuel cell on this truck, I'm going to go ahead and redo that one when I do that, just so that I have all new lines. There's that. Let's see here. This kit actually, it came with all these fittings too, which is pretty cool. These green ones right here look like they're the ones that would fit the master cylinder. You got all these little ones which fit like the proportioning valve, and they'll fit everything on the rear end and everything, which is cool. And then there's a couple other, there's these red ones. I don't know what those are gonna fit. Maybe they'll fit inside of a hose. And there's this giant one right here. I don't think I have anything that'll fit, but these are all for 3/16 line and new fittings. Everything brakes wise is going to be brand new. I just don't trust any of it. Everything's rusty, everything's old. I want to go through everything. I want to make sure that this thing can stop, because I want to make sure before I even start adding power, before I start making that thing fast, that it can stop at least as fast as it's supposed to from the factory. Because right now it's still, the brakes are a lot better than they used to be, but they're still not there because those fronts are destroyed. So every single brake component except for the proportioning valve and the pressure regulator for the rear drums is going to be 100% brand new. It's already got new rear brakes, it's got a new master, it's got one new line on it. So we're just going to go through everything, replace it all, and I won't have to worry about it for hopefully a very long time. And it'll be ready for me to add power and go fast, which will be nice. Okay, I don't remember where I was at. I get interrupted there for a second. But like I said, that's all the brake stuff aside from the calipers, rotors, and wheel bearings. Those are still on the way. And then we can get the brakes totally dialed. And the one other thing I might do is power steering. I would like to have power steering on it just because it kind of sucks not having it. And I know that once my downpipe is on and my intercooler is on, it's going to be a lot more difficult to reach the power steering rack. So I may do that beforehand, but that's not going to cost as much. Like a rack's like $100, and a pump, I don't know. I might try to use that pump. I don't really want to push a bunch of nasty metal inside of the new rack though, so I'll probably put a new pump and lines on. So that's going to be like another $300 probably, because I'm going to get new outer tie rods as well, and then have to get an alignment done after all that. But we'll see if I decide to do that before or after turbo stuff. I'm leaning towards doing it before because I want to make sure this truck's ready to go before I go and mess with it too much. But we'll see. But anyway, like I said, that's new seats in the truck. Been wanting to do that for a while. Really happy about it. Quick unboxing of brakes. Quick look into what's coming up. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It was kind of not really planned at all. I just woke up today and had nothing to do, so I figured I'd go throw new seats in the truck. And I think that's where I'm going to close out. I will see you guys later.